Hi, my name is Rebecca Fitzhugh, and today I'm going to walk you through how Rubrik can be used to simplify data management across your hybrid cloud. First, let's look at the current state of most data centers. There is a perception that some sort of intelligence layer is handling data protection, but in many cases this is due to rebranding manual and imperative workflows with fancy words around policy and automation. Or perhaps you do have some level of automated intelligence handling this, but that's your team actually just writing scripts and code to automate as much as they can. In essence, you've become a part-time backup software vendor. Not fun. But the reality is a bit more stark. This is especially true in environments with a long tail of mission-critical applications that require support. So in these cases, they usually require a team of highly skilled individuals that are constantly building and maintaining backup jobs. And this remains the measurable control mechanism for many operations. And jobs are often dependent on one another as limited resources are available to be scheduled. However, the hybrid cloud is not designed to be aligned to this model. This is not scalable. Instead, these design considerations are what you're looking for. Data protection is and should be an asset, but it has to align tightly to the release pipeline model if scale and agility are actually priorities for you in your hybrid cloud. It should also simplify the creation, operation, and archival of applications and their data. This is in contrast to the complexity that is typically added by previous generations of data protection vendors. There's also a need to return data back into both ops and the application and development teams. Right now, most data protection workflows are where data ends its life cycle, and this is a huge waste. The last consideration is around infrastructure as code. Again, with agility and scale in mind, there must be a tight relationship between what tools you're leveraging to build and scale your operations, along with what platform you select for data protection. Using these design considerations will ensure continuity of operations in the face of disaster when you're forced to recover from your backup. Data protection is an asset, as I mentioned previously, but we have to align it tightly to our release pipeline model. And so in order for us to treat data protection as an asset, it's important that we first dispose of the concept of backup jobs as a unit of work. This model is somewhat akin to asking a team of people to route packages all around the world for FedEx instead of just using computer algorithms custom designed for that exact purpose. Instead, what you should be doing is constructing service level agreements, or SLAs, a common business logic that we can then use as an input. And then we can associate the SLA to one or more workloads and rely on a set of intelligent algorithms to enforce your requirements. So relating back to the FedEx scenario, it's a bit like picking between a priority or standard class of service, depending on how fast you need the package to arrive to its destination. Same thing here. What level or quality of service do I want to ensure for my data in case I need to recover it? So what Rubrik has done is taken all of that business logic constructs and converged it into a single policy-driven solution. So in this case, Rubrik's SLA domains are designed to abstract away the majority of legacy thinking, which means that you immediately have productivity gains. So protection is input using the recovery point objective, or the RPO value. This will determine how frequently a backup is taken. I can then take this policy and apply it to all workload types that require this level of service, regardless of their locality. This means I can use the same service level agreement to protect my data, regardless of where it resides, whether at the tactical edge or within my data center. Next, in that same policy, I will also define my recovery time objective, or my RTO. And this is expressed by measuring how much data I wish to keep locally for instant restores. With Rubrik, since there is no need to rehydrate your immutable data held within our system, any local data is available within seconds regardless of its format, a VM, database, files, folders, etc. There are also controls for long-term retention to meet your archival needs. and replication targets for disaster recovery requirements. Once you've begun successfully protecting and managing all of your running workloads, the next step is to build a tight relationship with your lifecycle management workflows. This is the creation and retirement of your applications and data. Typically, data protection requires quite a bit of heavy lifting by way of help desk tickets and adding new workloads to backup jobs. And this shared fate model is a poor design choice. In contrast, Rubrik is well known for being extremely simple to integrate into lifecycle management workflows of your choice. This means that in one workflow, you can provision and protect your data. This enables you to use Rubrik from cradle to grave. Digging in deeper, there are different options to automate the protection of your applications and data. First, you have dynamic rules, which protect parent objects such as clusters or database servers or instances and so forth. Secondly, you have metadata rules, which is protection based on workload characteristics such as locality or tagging. And as workloads are retired, there's nothing you have to do. Rubrik automatically handles the deprecation of an application or data by marking it as a relic and retaining the data for the life of the associated SLA. So there's literally nothing you have to do to sunset a workload, which is a positive differentiator. Earlier, I also mentioned that there's a need to return data back into both ops and the application and development teams. Data protection isn't the end of the journey, it's just a new beginning. So let's drill into a workload to see Rubrik's view of things and how strong feedback loops can be created between both operations and development. Every workload has a summary page that contains status information. This can provide a glimpse into the metadata being held by our platform, along with what the intelligent algorithms have determined would be a good time to take the next backup. Looking at the example on the screen, you can see information around the locality of this workload, the service level agreement applied, as well as the age of the snapshots that have been ingested by our system, enabling a number of points in time that can be used for recovery. Since this is a mostly idle virtual machine that I used for demos, the next snapshot is exactly 12 hours from the previous, which makes sense for an SLA domain with a 12-hour RPO value. It's your data, you should be able to take action with it. So you can select any number of points in time and then leverage those snapshots for a number of use cases, such as test dev clones, migrating that data to a new environment via an export, instantly recovering your workloads to combat outages or attacks. And all of the technical nuance necessary to perform these tasks is abstracted away, which allows for a wider possible user base to consume these options with little to no technical knowledge required. For example, we've seen a number of customers integrate our live mount functionality into CI/CD workflows to clone data from recent points in time in order to conduct testing against a copy of a production database that is then mounted inside of their development environment. Right? There's just one of many ways that you can use your backup data to do more. And all of this is because we have an API-first platform, which means that you can extend Rubrik further. So going deeper into that idea, the final step is to ensure that your CI/CD pipelines and configuration management software is able to work directly and seamlessly with the data protection software. So in this case, I'll highlight 3 areas of opportunity. First, the declarative code that your ops team writes to build out the foundational infrastructure components could also include the configuration of Rubrik's scale-out platform. At a more granular level, secondly, you could also consider constructing and maintaining the SLA domain policies via some sort of configuration management layer. This is especially important for enterprise-sized mission partners with a complex set of units and tenants to satisfy. And last, the build process to construct new workloads, such as a service catalog, can be integrated with Rubrik to provision and protect your workloads in a single automation workflow. And all throughout this process, you want to ensure that you're really trying to meet that desired state, which is really leveraging a single data operations plane that is tailored to suit your needs. Metadata, which is the details about your data but not the data itself, is also captured for a myriad of use cases. We provide a number of data operators that can help you gain deeper insights into the data across your hybrid cloud. I'll give you 2 examples of how you can leverage metadata attached to your backup data. Radar is an application that helps you recover faster from cyber attacks by providing a simple, intuitive user interface to track how your data has changed over time. So with just a few clicks, you can quickly restore to your most recent clean state to minimize downtime during an attack. It also increases intelligence by using machine learning to actively monitor and generates alerts for anomalous behavior like malware and ransomware. To accelerate the discovery of an attack's impact, Radar provides insights into how your data has changed at the time of the event, and even can give you very specific information around what data was encrypted and where. Once alerted, you can dig into the event to see exactly where and what has changed based off of your metadata baseline. There are 3 things to consider for your last line of defense against ransomware. First, the ability to recover quickly from backup as required. Ensuring that your backup data is immutable, which means that it cannot be modified. And then lastly, getting deeper introspection into your data to identify the attack surface area in order to be able to recover as quickly as possible. All of these requirements can be met by Rubrik. Another data consideration is around governance. Amidst complex compliance regulations, accelerated data demands, and increased adoption of cloud infrastructure, and the threat of data breaches, it's really hard to balance with the need to discover, classify, and report on sensitive data to help comply with privacy regulations. Rubrik provides Sonar, another application that consists of an engine that analyzes patterns and expressions with the flexibility to allow customizations to meet your specific compliance needs. It uses your existing backup data to classify sensitive data across the hybrid cloud. So ultimately what Sonar is doing is it's using analyzers to scan, detect, and validate all of your previously backed up data with regular expressions, checksum validation, and natural language processing techniques. So to harness this, you simply select which policy fits your requirements or create your own custom policy. And this gives you the power to visibly see and control all of your data wherever it resides across your infrastructure, and allowing you to be able to meet compliance. So in conclusion, introducing Rubrik into the hybrid cloud allows you to successfully meet a number of design considerations listed on the slide with relatively light lift. This should free up some valuable time from operations to focus on paying off technical debt and strategic projects that are part of your mission. Additionally, we give you a single control plane so that the locality of a workload no longer dictates how that data is being managed. To learn more about Rubrik, please visit Rubrik.com. Thank you very much.